Stage 14 of the Tour de France, and what an epic day of racing. A lot to report in a day that covered the Tourmalet, the Aspen, and to finish up here to Superbagneres. Remco Evenepoel, after a couple bad days, abandoned the race. Matthias Skilmos crashed early on before the Tourmalet, called it quits on the 2025 Tour de France. Up ahead, well, it was an escape that was made with Sepp Kuss, Simon Yates, Carlos Rodriguez, Thymen Arensman, Valentin Perpentre, Ben O'Connor, Michael Storer, 3 from Movistar, including Einar Rubio, Michael Woods, and Tobias Johannesson. This group would go on to win the stage. Well, when I say this group, I mean one rider from Team Ineos, Thymen Arensman. Set up on that final climb over the Parasol, going solo, and then reaching the 12-kilometer climb to come up here to Superbagneres to win alone. A massive win, and great for Team Ineos without Geraint Thomas going for the overall, and Carlos Rodriguez, who'd made the escape but not looking his best for the GC overall. And back behind, well, there was a lot to be fought for. The first hours of the stage were nuts. Riders going left and right, including Quinn Simmons, but it all came back together before that immediate sprint at the base of the Tourmalet, where Jonathan Milan got those crucial green jersey points at the intermediate sprint. Up ahead, this escape going over the climb, and I forgot to mention Lenny Martinez in the polka dot jersey holding it for Tadej Pogacar, but he gets the double points over the Tourmalet climb, going solo. Mike Woods escaping out of the bunch to get the second spot over the top, down into the valley. This group was getting further and further whittled away. It was Lenny Martinez who picked up the points over the Aspen too, moving himself up in the polka dot competition. But it was Rensman who made his move on the Parasol to go solo up to the top. Now behind, he was being chased by several riders that included in that group, the escape of the day was Sepp Kuss and Simon Yates. Those 2 riders were chasing behind. At one point, Sepp Kuss just sets up. It looks like he was going to be a satellite rider for a move by Jonas Vingegaard. We were going to have to watch how that played out. And believe me, there was some stuff that played out there in the GC group with our yellow jersey race leader, Tadej Pogacar. It's hard to believe I made it this far into the stage report without naming Tadej Pogacar. There we have it. We're going to get to him a little bit later. Now those riders being dropped back. Simon Yates would drop back as well. We had Ben O'Connor. We had Rubio still up there. We had an attack from Felix Gall, who had been in the GC group trying to go up to Bridge to Rensman. It looked pretty useless. He was in no man's land for a long time. UAE looked to be setting up something today because down in the valley, it was Sivakov who did a little bit of a pull it. Then it was over to Solar Power, Marc Soler, and then the big guns were coming out with Adam Yates, with Narvaez. The boys setting up after Wellens to do something for their race leader, team leader, Tadej Pogacar, and getting on to the base of the Superbagneres climb, 12.4 kilometers to go. It looked like Rensman was going to have it. He had enough gap in hand, but you never know. If Pogacar would light it up early on in that climb, well, no one would stand a chance. Instead, it was pretty steady Eddie up to the top. We had that move by Gall, and Rensman looked to be riding solo to victory. Back behind at 4 kilometers to go on the road for the GC group. I think it was less what you saw on the TV screen. Who attacks? Pogacar? No, think again. It was Jonas Vingegaard, who's been beaten down in this Tour de France by the relentless attacks of Tadej Pogacar. Today, he's out on the front foot, attacking first. It was great. They bring out the trio that followed with the 2 with Pogacar. Lipowitz crossed over, and at that point, we saw Lipowitz as probably the team leader, Bora Hansgrohe. The 3 ride up the road. Pogacar takes his turn, attacks. Then we see another attack by Ving, and then they ride all the way up to the line. Ving, Pog, riding. Tadej lets Ving ride all the way to the finish line. Then Tadej annihilates him and gets second spot there on the stage, earning the 6 seconds in bonus behind the 10 that Arensman picked up. Jonas Vingegaard happy with his day, but settling yet again. But we have to take note of a few different things here. Lipo moving ahead of his teammate, which I already mentioned. Also, Oscar Onley falling a bit back when the attack started to come, but still riding steady to finish up here in a good spot on the stage. Then the fallout of Remco Evenepoel. What a disappointment, especially after his podium last year. The signs were showing when he raced the Dauphiné. Didn't look quite right, and here in the Tour, yet again. But remember, he won the TT stage, the flat TT. His team picked up 2 stage wins with Tim Merlier in the sprints, So it hasn't been all that bad, but he's gonna have to go home and retool things and think about his future, which, by the way, could be linked with Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe. So he's out of the race. Now the third spot is open. Leibowitz takes it on the day in the white jersey as well, but the fight is still on for that third spot overall. Ving, Visma Lease bike with Jorgensen and Kuss, Yates, all going for stages. Yates has already picked up a stage over the line. I got a few words in with Jonas Vingegaard, and he was happy with the ride today. I've obviously only picked up third behind Tadej Pogacar, but he seemed upbeat on the day. Then over to Primoz Roglic and German television asking him, okay, now is it Florian Leibowitz, the team leader? Primoz is like, well, yeah, I guess, whatever. The German media want something out of Rog. And Rog, well, he's always few on words. Over to back to Sepp Kuss. And we got a little peek in at Oscar Onley, too. It looked a bit dejected on the day, but still Oscar doing Scotland proud, riding well. Over to Sepp Kuss, and Sepp trying to understand what was going on there at the team tactics and the team tactics to come. Looking forward to the rest day, but we got the Ventoux on the horizon and the Alps ahead for the team to play their cards there and possibly pick up more stages as they hope to secure that second spot with Ving. But attention, those guys racing for third place could be on the hunt for second place as well. Today, our last day up in the high mountains of the Pyrenees, and what a day of racing. Team Ineos Grenadiers going out in the attack, doing it, getting a stage win with Thymen Arensman. Back behind Pog, Ving, until Pog blows the doors off of Ving to pick up second spot. Superbagneres 2025 Tour de France.